So the other day, on Thursday, which would have been a few days ago, February 16th, Paizo announced that Pathfinder comics are returning with Wake the Dead. Now, I have not previously read any of the Pathfinder comics ever. So this was news to me that they even had a comic line. But I found it to be super interesting. There are some other comments that I have above and beyond this just being a um, comic series, and we'll get to those as we read through. But it says here Dynamite Entertainment is proud to debut the long anticipated next Pathfinder comic book series. Tabletop RPG connoisseur and fan favorite writer Fred Van Lente is revving up an all new party and campaign for Wake the Dead kicking off this May. So it's still a couple months out. Said it's a new creative team, a new party of iconics, new lands of Golarion to explore, and unforgettable moments galore in a brand new adventure. It also has extra. It says it has extra features that players can bring right to their game nights. I don't know what they mean by that. The cover art, some of this cover art says looks like exclusive Pathfinder RPG character options included. If anybody has more information about what that means, drop it in the comments below, or if you're here doing the live stream, just let me know because I have no frame of reference for that. It does say it's been nearly 5 years since the last major Pathfinder saga in comics, which was the critically acclaimed Spiral of Bones from writer Crystal Frazier. Since then, the world of Pathfinder in-game and in real-world popularity has exploded even more. And they say here, with recent record-smashing sales of source books and beyond, it's the perfect time for fans of the game to experience this classic alternate avenue of adventure. Which brings me to one of the points I thought was very interesting here, which is that obviously, it's been 5 years, they say here, since the last time they did a comic. Again, I was not even aware that they did Pathfinder comics because I'm coming into the Pathfinder universe kind of for the first time beyond the Owlcat games here over the last couple months. Right now, and I'm way more into Starfinder right now than I am with Pathfinder because even though I bought this Humble Bundle that we were talking about earlier in the stream, I haven't looked at those books. I'm not going to touch those books because I'm I just finished my Starfinder read through, and I'm getting ready to do the Pact Worlds, and then we're probably going to be doing a Starfinder campaign with some people on Wednesday nights in sometime in March, probably March. We might start in April, but it'll be somewhere in there. We'll be doing something. So once I finish up with the Starfinder thing, I'll be taking a look at Pathfinder. But what's interesting to me is coming in as an outsider, I was unaware that they did a Pathfinder comic before. Given that it's 5 years, it suggests to me that even though it might have been critically acclaimed, it didn't do well enough to justify them continuing to publish more. But given the recent surge of popularity and the record sales, where they sold like 8 months of books in 2 weeks and everything else, now is the perfect time for them to publish more because it's just, as they say here in this blog post, it's more opportunities for people to immerse themselves in the Pathfinder world. It's a very smart reinvestment of money coming in as well, rather than just enriching themselves like corporations would do. Paizo is choosing to take those revenues that are coming in, the excess revenue, and invest it back into their world and create more content and more ways for people to enjoy Pathfinder, which means gainfully employing artists and writers and so on and so forth, which I think is spot on. It's a great way to show that they are invested in the growth of the brand, the growth of the company, the growth of everything. More content is always a good thing. So cool. Um, Fred Van Lente said, I'm thrilled to be back writing Pathfinder comics and even more exciting. Is that bad English? And even more excited is what it should say, to be writing a whole new array of iconics meetings and adventuring together for the first time. So it says here, in Wake the Dead, the tantalizing prospect of a rendezvous with a Gebite defector in possession of priceless secrets from an undead nation draws together a diverse group of adventurers in the Nexian metropolis of Acanis. Van Lente has assembled an all-new party, spotlighting iconics who before now have only graced the four-colored pages as guest stars. And there's a lot of fluff language in this blog post. I don't know who wrote this, but there's way too much fluff. Readers will get to hang out with Quinn the Investigator, Sajin the Monk, Lim the Bard, and Sela the Champion, while readers of the original hit series by writer Jim Zub and others get reacquainted with Harsk the Dwarf Ranger. When they all find themselves cornered by the city's remorseless death sealers, can the Iconics band together for survival and escape a city full of hostile wizards alive? Interesting. There's a little bio section here of who Fred Van Lente is, some of his past work on things like Amazing Spider-Man, Incredible Hercules, Marvel Zombies, Archer and Armstrong, Comic Book History of Comics, and beyond. Doesn't it say who the artists here are as well? Yeah. Um, for this new series, he's joined by artist Eman Casallos, who's going to bring his says dungeon master storytelling to the page, as well as alongside artists Steve Ellis and Biago de Alessandro, who are contributing covers to the issues. And in addition to, oh, that's just in addition to him. Um, it says De Alessandro's covers for each issue of the series will also connect to form a larger image when collected together. Oh, so they're doing the old Keith Parkinson style where they paint a big picture and then separate it up into sections to make an overall image. That's really cool. Oh, maybe this is what it's talking about earlier in the article that I missed. It says at the end, um, the issues come with bonus material useful for players of the game, which includes playable character stats for the iconic Paladin Sela, as well as new character options for inhabitants of the magical military city of Acanis, and more. And all of these extra features are officially sanctioned by the Pathfinder Society. Cool. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Says stay tuned as the first ever Starfinder comic series is right around the corner. All right, that gets me excited because I've been like neck deep in the Starfinder stuff, as I mentioned earlier in this segment. Um, and I'm a bit more. I've never been huge into comics, but science fiction is definitely something that I'm a huge fan of. What do you got? Tuna. See if he wants to eat. He didn't want to eat. He had a couple pieces of croquettes earlier. Yeah, he still doesn't want to eat. Anyway, I'm excited about the comics. I mean, I'll definitely take a look at the Pathfinder comics, but I'm definitely more excited about the Starfinder comics that are coming down the pipeline. So for me, that's going to be what I'm waiting for, and I can't wait to see. So hopefully, those are sooner rather than later. They don't give a date on the Starfinder ones, so we'll wait and see. But these are coming in May for this new series, Wake the Dead, which is pretty cool. In any case, if you're following along the live stream, stick around. We're going to be continuing onwards. For those of you who are watching this in episodic format, this is the end of this episode. So if you liked what you saw here today, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And yeah, support in all the ways you can listed down below.